Alright, this is Foxy Monkey Creek Beast.
Okay. And today, basically what we're going to be doing is showing differences between lighters and fire stills and how they perform after they've been submerged underwater. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lighter that is working, at least we hope, and I'm going to submerge it in water, and I'm going to submerge the fire still in water, and we're going to see how they perform after being submerged.
Yep.
Okay, let me go ahead and get this set up. Looks like the fire still had no problem, and the lighter wants to float, so I'm going to put the stone in there and hold it down. Okay, alright. Okay, remember back when we were talking about fine and gross motor skills?
Oh yeah,
Brandon?
sure.
Could you tell me what a fine motor skill is?
Basically, it's like riding.
Riding? Okay. What about maybe even just striking a lighter itself?
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you think that would be the same? Do you think this would be considered kind of like a...
Fine, it's fine.
It's like fine? There you
Yeah,
go.
here.
Yeah. Kind of like a fine motor skill. What's a gross motor skill?
Basically like throwing the football like this.
Like throwing a football. So it's something where it's a large movement.
Yeah.
Basically. When you get cold, do you think these fine motor skills, like striking a lighter and doing things like that, do you think that's hard or easy?
Hard. It's really hard.
It's really hard. You remember a sign I showed you? One of them when
yeah, like this.
Yeah, that's called finger to thumb opposition. If you can't do this, you're getting too cold. You know, you could already be in beginning, even possibly even in advanced stages of hypothermia, and this is a clear sign. You need to get up and get moving. And if you get advanced, you're probably not even going to be able to think. But with beginning stages, this is still a problem, even doing all of them like this. And that's one of the reasons why I chose the fire stills that I did. I try to find them. They've been making them. This is from the same company as that one over there. I'm not going to get into particulars of the company itself. It's just to show that when you have a larger one, especially if your hands get cold, and you can see this is very big. The striking handle on this one, it's unfortunately not as big, but you still kind of choke up on it like this. What would be ideal is to braid something out of this paracord and make it really tight against that, so you can have a larger handle. It's still going to have a rubber bend in it, but it's easier. It's easier to manipulate this thing than it is something very small, like some of the LMFs that I have, where it's just a little bitty thing. This one, very large, very easy to hold on to, especially if you get cold. And we'll demonstrate this one. I'll move this bowl, if you will, let me do that over here, and strike this one. And you can see that it really just comes out. Sorry if I didn't get very much.
You didn't.
Okay. And you can see that. Feel how easy that is to hold. Feel how easy that is to hold in your hand. And you can see how easy that is as well. But what we'll do is, that's fancy, isn't it?
Yep.
Got a little button compass on it and all that. And really, it's not the purpose, and it's got a little container if you want to put things in. We'll put this guy back up for right now. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and get this fire still here out, and the lighter. We're going to get the lighter out first. Okay. And I'll let you go ahead and get the lighter out. Let me get that stone out of the way.
Man, the stone's heavy.
Yeah, it's somewhat heavy.
Alright, I'll show you. This thing does not work.
Okay. Alright.
Now you try, dude.
I'll try it there. Okay, dude. I'll try to tap it out a little bit and see if I can get it to work. No, that's not going to work. I'd have to dry it out, and I don't even know if it would ever work again. Those things generally, especially those cheaper ones like that, those little adjustable ones, I'll turn it all the way up and try to blow it out again. It's not going to light. Just throw it aside. We'll try the fire steel now. Let me get that. Don't shake it off. Don't shake it off. We're going to leave it wet right there like that. And what I'm going to do So I'm going to strike that with it wet. Now, you can see it's dripping.
Yep.
And this is dripping wet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to back up. You might want to back up too. And I'm going to demonstrate this fire steel. Stay in frame here with it soaking wet.
Oh.
And you can see that it just throws and showers as far as I don't want to do that too much because it's right on the floor, but you can see why you want to have a fire steel in your kit, especially when you'll be going into cold, wet areas. Ladders and matches get wet. That's going to be the end all of them. And this one has a large handle too. You can choke here, do whatever, and it's got two. And this simulates not necessarily a gross, but it's larger of a movement, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. All right, it's a much larger movement. All right. Let me get this dried off, okay?
Okay.
All right. And we'll move on here in a second to doing these tinders here. Even with a larger fire steel like that, when you're in a cold, wet environment, and we talked about having, I guess you could say, tinder that has like fuel in it. And one of the ones that I showed you was the cotton balls laced with petroleum jelly.
Yep.
And we saw the difference in those and how they burn as far as time. If you will, I'll get you to demonstrate the difference between those. So we got two separate ones here. And I want to move this guy down a bit so you can, because this is the one with the petroleum. And recall, this is the one, remember how we fluff them?
Yeah.
This is the one without petroleum. What I'm going to get you to do right now is light this one. And I will do this. That way you have an easier time. And then here's your fire steel. So here, you can go ahead and demonstrate.
3, 2, 1. Oh, hold on. Hold on.
Go ahead and get closer. Yeah, sometimes. It may not be fluffed up enough. Let me fluff that up a little bit more. There you go. Give yourself a little bit more chance. Just take your time. You're in no rush. You get in a rush. You're weary, and you don't want to do that. I'll hold this still. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sometimes I have a hard time.
That's fine. Why don't you try holding it just with your hand like this? That will be a little easier for you. And aim it right at it, okay? Okay.
There,
I don't know what was going on with it. I hope that's not one of those synthetic cotton balls. I don't think that it is. I don't think they should be. And you want to get the 100% cotton, don't you?
Yeah.
Because the ones that are synthetic don't work as well. That one's basically already burnt all the way out. Look at that.
Yeah.
Alright. Now, with this one, it should be fluffed up enough for you. This is the one laced with it. And go ahead. Grip your fire steel a little bit harder there. You know what we talked about that. Okay, we're going to
Oh
let
man,
that
that's
one.
a bigger flame.
We're going to let that one set, okay?
As you
And
see,
I'll
it's
move
a bigger
away.
flame, it lasts longer.
Yeah. Move your hand out of the way. You don't want to get burned.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
We got it right here on this large pan, and it's not going to do anything. But this guy can burn. I've had him burn up to, I don't know, 5-6 minutes before, I suppose. What's the whole point of having this?
Well, basically,
You'll want this to make it easier to get your fire going, wouldn't you?
yeah.
What
Sorry.
if you go into the woods and everything's wet, right?
Right.
Well, we know I showed you about the toning down.
Yep.
And it may not get to that, making the one-stick fire. I showed you that. We'll do a video over that later. But, you know, you'll want to get down to the center where it's dry.
Mm-hmm.
But rather than sit there trying to make little bitty fine shavings with a really bad, you know, conditions out there and the weather the way it is, why not have something with you in the kit that's it's going to sit there and stay lit for 4, 5, 6 minutes. You know, it doesn't make any sense just to have a fire still. Also include with it some sort of fuel tablet or maybe one of these cotton balls laced with petroleum. It's very cheap. I mean, a whole bag of cotton balls. Make sure it's 100% cotton. is what, $1, maybe $2 or something like that. A really big bag, you know, petroleum jellies like next to nothing in price. And look at this, it's still burning. I mean, I haven't even timed this. I don't even know how long this is going to burn. Probably upwards to 5 minutes or so. But you see the necessity for it, though.
Yep.
So definitely have 4 or 5 of these in a little small container. This fire steel, for example. This one on the inside, and you see how this, although it's a thick fire steel, it's a large one, there's still all that empty space in there. You can put cotton balls in there with the petroleum. It's just that, you know, it probably would get all over your steel and make your hands slippery. You don't want that. If you're going to put them in here, you can get small plastic bags where you can put that in there and then stuff this down on top of it, you know, and then extract one as you need it. You don't need to take the whole cotton ball. You can pinch like off half of it, and half of it, well, we'll just say that it burns for 2.5 minutes. I don't know. I'm just assuming. Hang on. We'll just assume that it's going to burn that long. But, you know, the point behind it is to have that backup, to have that fuel source. You know, and a lot of people get this ideal in their mind that, you know, I'll just grab 2 sticks, rub them together. You know how I feel about that. You know, it's fun to practice friction fire in your home, in your backyard, or out in the woods where you go and do your thing, but we both know that that can be extremely difficult.
Yeah.
You see me do on the spot friction fires, but you know, that may not always be the case. You know, it may take me sometimes 2, 3 times to actually get an ember. And you know, I've done it before on the first try with an ember and on the spot, but I'm not going to go to that. That's fun. That's fun to me. And what I wanted to say was, this is a modern lighter, and I don't have a spindle with me right now, but a spindle is a lighter for a man, say, 10,000 years ago. That was his lighter. He carried that around. He's like, oh yeah, I need to light my tobacco or whatever, and he'd light it with that. Whereas this is modern man's lighter. You know, I think people are confused. You know, this whole, I'm going to rub 2 sticks together. How do you feel about that? Do you think that would be easy?
No.
Rubbing 2 sticks together. What's your feelings on friction fire? Because you're right now in the beginning stages of learning how to do it, and I've seen where you got smoke. You're only 10 years old.
Yep.
And how difficult is it?
It used to be really difficult with the one that's bigger than my ring finger or my pinky.
Uh-huh.
But since I got one that's the size of either one of these,
yeah.
Well, basically, it was easier because I got dust piles easier.
You did.
Yeah.
That's true. I did see that. I did see you get smoke, though, and dust pile with a larger spindle as well, but you need to at least match it with your hand size. But the question was, you know, you find it very difficult, right?
Right.
And all my years of doing this, playing around with fires and whatnot, I've never heard of anyone once doing a friction fire in a survival situation. Not one time. Now, I'm sure that there probably are those instances where they are, but I have never heard a story where someone actually did it. And that's kind of the reason why I brought it up, that caveman, or primitive man, whatever you want to call him, he was the one who used that. And that was his version of a lighter, or his matches. You know, he didn't have those available to him. And this is our version. If you're gonna go out in the wild, what do you have with you? What do you have with you?
Free fire sales, free lighters, and...
Oh, well, 2 would suffice, but I would have these matches in a watertight container, just like we had, you know, talked about.
Yeah.
But the ideal that you're going to get a friction fire going, just because you can do that skill at home or in your backyard, it's kind of, I don't know what to make of that. You know? It's not going to be the same if you're outdoors, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and close now, and Fox, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah. Well, see you later, folks. This was Bobby Creek Beats and Fox.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we'll play around with that one here in a few seconds, okay?
Okay.